Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us at the Charities Aid Foundation webinar on converting Facebook likes into donations. Just to start off with a little history about me, my name is Tyrone Howden. I work in the CAF Customer Services team, and as a part of my role, I help charities increase their presence on social media by assisting them in the use of the CAF platform to increase the support that they attract. Today, I will explore the practical use of Facebook as a donation platform. The purpose of this webinar will be to show you some examples of charities using Facebook and how they're using it. We'll look at some of the ideas that could help you get likes, followed by a demo to help you convert likes into actual donations through our online donation platform, CAF Donate. For those of you who aren't aware, CAF Donate is an online donation processing platform that connects donors to charities through multiple channels. You can use the chat facility to send questions during the presentation. The webinar will last approximately 25 minutes, and during the session there will be the opportunity to ask through the chat facility. We'll address as many questions as we can at the end of the session, and any others will follow up by email after the webinar. If there's anything you want to revisit, don't worry, because the presentation will be sent to you afterwards. Now, the first thing that we're going to take a look at during this presentation is some stats around social media and the demographics that are using it. As you can see on this screen here, there is 90% of Generation Y who is born between 1981 and 1991 using Facebook. 79% of Generation X who were born between 1965 and 1980. 66% of the baby boomer generation who were born between 1946 and 1964, and 66% again of the mature demographic who were born before 1945. So we can see that age has proven to be no barrier to being on Facebook. The older demographics who are more likely to give are very visible on Facebook, and this is an audience you can't afford to ignore. According to a Guardian article earlier this year, there was 24 million users in the UK alone logging into Facebook each day. I find that this fact makes these stats even more interesting. So let's take a look really quickly at charities that are using Facebook well. We have an example here of the RSPCA. Now, the RSPCA does a really good example of how they can use the About Us section and the basic info to really outline what your charity is doing. So they don't take for granted the fact that they have over 480,000 likes on their Facebook page, and they've created a really clear About Us section which outlines their mission and shows that they haven't taken for granted anyone or everyone knowing about what they do. So the branding and the cover photo is really important to this to set the tone of the charity's mission and the Facebook page itself. For example, the hedgehogs on the RSPCA page present the positive effect that the RSPCA are having on animal welfare, and they continue this in their wall posts as well. Remember that the About Us section provides you with a good opportunity to tell people what you want them to know about you and what you're trying to achieve. You should also have a reason to ask. As you can see here, the Celia Hammond Animal Trust issued a call to action through their Facebook to raise an urgent £800 so that a rescued cat could have a much-needed operation within that same day. Chat supporters had raised £2,680. A few days later, they could see the result that Wilson the cat was recovering nicely. But why did this work so well? The post was immediate and had relevance. The image was clear and reinforced the need. The ask was clear. The charity knew what it wanted to do, how to do it, and how much it would take to fix Wilson. As you can see in the next image, the supporters were able to see immediate results. Here we can see that Wilson is on the road to recovery. Sharing thanks and updates allows donors to really see a difference that makes their gifts. Every one of the 35 shares on this story reached a potential 200 people. Make sure your post about the results actually has an emphasis on the result. You should have an update on the impact and an acknowledgement of donor action. Now, putting out a call to action is something that you could give a shot. Ovarian Cancer Action have used a clear and positive image to send out a call to action to their community by asking their supporters if they would like to run or know someone who wanted to take part in the Great Northern Run. Another thing that you can try is another thing that Ovarian Cancer Action has done, where they've used their Facebook page not only to promote events, but also to raise awareness. In this example, they've used a nice, clear image with a strong message. Although a difficult subject for many, they still have managed to achieve a good number of shares and likes that help their message to spread. This is a slightly different example where a private company has teamed up with a charity. Here we can see a great idea which saw Wales Air Ambulance become the beneficiary of a company's fundraising efforts. To coincide with the branch opening in the area, Hydroquip decided to encourage people to share images that promote merchandise and company brand while providing £1 to a charitable cause for every share. A target of £1,500 was set, and this was easily reached. According to Hydroquip's website, one particular Facebook selfie posted on Friday afternoon of one of their paramedics saw over 20,000 shares on Facebook, reaching over 1 million people. So it's worth thinking, if you do have corporate partners, what could you do to create awareness for your charity? Be creative. All of these charities are doing well on Facebook, and it's because they're following 5 key rules. Facebook limits the reach of your post to only a proportion of the supporters each time you post. To make sure that you reach as many supporters as possible, you need to post regularly. Over time, you can test the frequency of your posts to find the right balance. Use images to bring your posts alive, whether photos of events, beneficiaries, or the work you're doing, if you have the permission to do so. Number 2 is don't post for the sake of posting. Make sure your posts have a reason for being. For instance, promote events, ask for support, or share updates. If you're worried about how to generate content for posts, invite your supporters to contribute. Get them to share their stories about how you have helped them or how they are helping you. Share news stories, articles, and photos. Like other pages and comment on them. Include community groups, companies, and charities which complement your cause, especially if they have helped you with donations or services. Now, unfortunately, no organization or individual is immune from trolls. People who purposely use Facebook to post negative comments and damage your reputation. First, you should always make sure that you have to state what kind of behavior will and won't be accepted on your Facebook group. You can post these group rules in your About Us section. If you do experience trolling, you should deal with them in the same way you would deal with them offline. First, you may choose to respond to them if you feel that it will benefit your organization, or if you would feel that it would do more damage to ignore the comment. Those on your page that may have similar views as you might also join in, and it could turn into a healthy debate. Offer to take it offline if the situation starts to get out of control. Second, you can simply hide their comment. By hiding their comment, only them and their friends will see what has been written. This way, the person feels that they have had their say, but no one else on your page will see it. Third, if the comments are particularly inappropriate or defamatory, you may consider deleting the post and blocking the user altogether. You can also report them to Facebook, who may consider banning them completely from the platform. Always follow up this post with a comment just to say that the comment has been removed, and also that a kindly reminder of what will and won't be accepted on your Facebook page to the rest of your group. This reinforces your values to the group, and they can also see that you are in control. Now we're going to move on to 5 ideas to get likes on Facebook. A study by Harvard Business School found that giving to others can make you happier than spending it on yourself, but only when that giving is towards a charity that is supported by a friend, relative, or another social connection. In other words, social giving rather than to an anonymous cause. It's important to keep it interesting, not just to satisfy your supporters, but also the Facebook algorithms. Facebook has an algorithm which predicts how interesting each story will be to the end user, and then filters the user's news feed based on this. To make it work for you, you should consider producing interesting content that your users want to read and share, creating content in formats that increase engagement. For example, pictures are more clicked on than text posts. According to Social Bakers, who provide stats on social media, they say that photos make up 93% of the most engaging posts on Facebook. You could consider paying for your posts to be sent to people. If you want to find out more about the Facebook algorithm or advertising, you can find it out directly from Facebook themselves. Now, our first idea is to try running competitions. Competitions encourage engagement with your supporters and spread the message further, especially if people share these links with their friends. This makes it a fun place to visit and encourages people to get involved by increasing interaction. Here we can see an example from the Celia Hammond Animal Trust, which was very popular. It was to win a Wimbledon match tennis ball signed by Andy Murray. You can choose whether to run competitions within your Facebook wall like Celia Hammond did, or you can create a more sophisticated contests and promotions and newsletters tab using app builders like ShortStack. You don't have to be a technical whiz, as a lot of the coding has been done for you and a lot of the features are for free. Visit www.shortstack.com for more details on that. The second idea that we have is to create specific campaign and events pages. Here we can see an example from Cancer Research's UK campaign Triathlon. It was the UK's first initiative encouraging people to stay off alcohol to raise funds through sponsorship or personal pledge. Triathlon attracted a Facebook community of 21,000 followers, 80% of whom were new to Cancer Research UK. Cancer Research created a new Facebook page for this campaign, as sometimes when a page is very active, the content can be lost amongst lots of posts. That said, smaller charities may prefer to keep this within their main page to keep it prominent. Our third idea is that you can use content from supporters, volunteers, and beneficiaries. This can help those of you who are worried about not having enough time to generate content. You don't need to create all your own content. You can use volunteers and supporters to create it for you. If you make your page open to post, images are great, as they are the most clicked on pieces of content on Facebook. Also, what about videos? These don't have to be expensive. Smartphones can produce good quality videos. This example that we have here was inspired by a recent no makeup selfie campaign. This was started by individuals to raise money for Crohn's and Colitis UK. They used the hashtag #GetYourBellyOut. Now, it's worth doing to share stories that have an effect. As we can see, Crohn's sufferer Bethany Townsend became an overnight internet sensation after posting an image of herself in a bikini with a colostomy bag. And as you can see, there was quite a few shares and likes. With just these two posts alone, there was 1,300 shares and over 6,500 likes. The next idea that we have is newsjacking. So newsjacking is actually the process of using other hashtags and trending ideas and piggybacking with them on your story. Newsjacking allows you to create campaigns on the back of big news items. In this case, we can see an example from the recent tube strike. Macmillan are showing that their phone lines are open whilst the tube lines are shut. Christy Marins, a digital communications consultant, posted an online article last year which also provided examples of how charities newsjacked the hashtag Royal Baby. Examples included the Dogs Trust, who offered up tips and advice for introducing the new baby Kate to Kate Williams' dog, and Macmillan, who celebrated the occasion with a bake sale. You must remember, however, if you do decide to newsjack, you need to consider what you use wisely. It could backfire, particularly if you choose the wrong story. You can also try integrating other social media. So you have to make sure that you be consistent with your Twitter or Instagram feeds. On this example, Giving Tuesday was used across different channels, including Facebook and Twitter. If you are currently using hashtags in a campaign on Twitter or on Instagram, start including those hashtags in your Facebook content. This makes it easier to integrate all of your social channels as one. Treat social media as you would any other marketing channels. Be consistent and integrated with your messages. Don't assume all of your supporters are following all of your channels. A warning though, you need to be consistent with your message, but it should be tailored according to the channel. If you carry direct links to Facebook on your site and in your electronic communications, such as in organization email signatures and newsletters, people will be able to find you easily. Your campaign could be promoted on auto signatures for people who work for the charity, and if possible, also on the signatures of people volunteering for the business, could be in the signatures of volunteers who work for businesses where there's a potential for lots of people to see and click the Facebook campaign. The campaign should also be promoted through other channels available to the charity, and that would be things like a LinkedIn company page or a Twitter account or even a Google Plus account. Now, in summary, the ideas that we discussed was to run competitions because they encourage involvement. Try newsjacking. It can work well, but something you should be wary of. Create specific campaigns, something for your supporters to get involved in. Try getting content from your supporters. Just remember, you don't have to provide all the content yourself. And integrate other social media. Don't assume everyone is looking at everything you post or tweet. Tailor it for the channel. Now that we've taken a look at how you can build up a following and strengthen it, we're going to take a look at how you can actually physically turn those donations or turn those likes into donations. Network for Good provided some useful information in their newsletter articles, and we looked at some of these ideas. The power of social proof. Stories from others can provide inspiration and show the value of the donations raised. But also, people want to know that they can trust you and that you'll put their money to good work. If there is an endorsement from someone they feel they can trust to help reinforce this idea of credibility and transparency, you could consider asking donors or beneficiaries if they would consider providing testimonials for you to use. Calls to action. Be specific about the action you want your donors to take, and any text should reinforce the impact a gift will have. You could also reinforce this by explaining how their support really matters. As we discussed in our Make Your Own Website, a Magnet for Donations webinar, that you need to make your donations options clear and make it stand out. Make it easy. Tell people what you want them to do, don't make them guess, and minimize the effort for them making a donation. Now we're going to take a look at a physical platform that you can use for getting yourself on Facebook as a donation platform. CAF Donate is a system that Charities Aid Foundation has created for people to create an easy general fund setup that you can take straight to Facebook and have your own Facebook donation platform. Now, the things that you're seeing on the screen right now are some of the things that you'll need to think about when creating a general fund for a campaign that you'll be taking to Facebook. So as we can see here, we need a campaign name, campaign description, codes, website logos, mobile logos, some donation targets, up to 3 amounts for those donation targets and what they'll mean, a campaign end date, and a web page link to send donors to after they've made the donation. You can also think about thank you messages, as they are very important. If you weren't able to attend our webinar that Ken Burnett hosted, one of his biggest things is that feedback needs to be immediate and it needs to be ongoing. So the fact that once people make a donation to you, they get an immediate thank you message that pops up on their Facebook feed, as well as an email that gets sent to them later, really coincides with the fact that donors need to be always encouraged and thanked regularly for the donations that they're giving to you guys. So this is what a general fund looks like when you're setting it up on the CAF Donate website. As you can see, this is where you put in the title, display names. The campaign code is for online donation self-processing. Here are the logos. If you're having trouble resizing logos, feel free to send them in to us or give us a shout on the number that we have at the end of this presentation. We'd be more than happy to walk you through how to set that up. These are the single donation targets. You get 3 quick click amounts as well as 3 different descriptions. So it's important for each of the descriptions to reflect the amount of money that you're actually giving to the charity. So make sure that it's specific. Let the people know what you can do with those donation amounts, and make sure it's as easy as possible for them. For regular donations, it's the exact same. We want to keep it with 3 amounts and reflect the fact that it's a regular donation. Let them know that the fact that they are committing to you, giving regularly, is important to you and that it can do different things for you. You're allowed to have a campaign donation. So if you're setting up specific campaigns, as we talked about earlier, if you're having a social media campaign with a specific end date, you can create that end date on here, as well as a description of the specific campaign and the donation target of it that you can allow donors to see. These are the thank you messages. The thank you message pops up right after the donation is made, while the thank you email is actually sent to them after the donation has been made. So The thank you message can just acknowledge the fact that the donation has gone through and that you're very thankful, whereas the thank you email can give them a little bit more feedback, a little bit more information, and allow them to really engage with your guys' charity. The donation alerts are just simply whenever you get a donation, we can notify you that a donation's come through so that you can keep giving them that regular feedback and find them on your reporting software so that you're able to set it all up. Now, this is what will look like once you've actually filled out the entire campaign to donation page field. Once you've done that, we can actually add it to Facebook. So what you'll need to do is first is to make sure that you have a community page on Facebook. So creating a community page is very straightforward. From any page on Facebook, select the Create a Page button, choose the Cause or Community page link. Once you've done that, you need to add the name of your community page. This could be your charity name, or if you're doing something for a specific appeal or a campaign name, just like Triathlon with Cancer Research UK, you'd put your community's, your campaign name in there. The next thing that you need to do is follow the very simple steps, adding a description, photos, images, everything like that. And then you just have to add the page to your favorites so that it's always acceptable. But skip the option to add a payment method unless you're looking to carry out like a full advertising on your site. Now, this is when you've actually had a chance to set up your whole Facebook donation page. What you'll do then is you will go into the top left-hand corner where you can see where it says Facing the World. In that search bar, you'll actually type in CAF app. And when the CAF Donate Facebook app comes up as one of your options, all you have to do is click on that, and it will take you to this page where you click on the Setup button, and the Setup button will ask you for access to your page. You'll be asked a series of questions to allow CAF Donate to access your profile, post to Facebook, and manage your pages. Select OK to all of these. If you don't respond OK to these questions, you'll not be able to proceed. The reason why we need this access is so that when people make a donation, we can allow them to share. So there is a sharing option on the Facebook app that allows people, once they've made a donation, to share the fact that they've made a donation. So this is why these access questions come up. That's the only purpose that they're used for. Once you've done that, you click on View All Pages. And when you click on View All Pages, you'll be able to find your campaigns. And once you select the campaign that you actually want to go live with on your Facebook page, you just click Add. Once you've clicked Add, your Facebook widget will come up. Your Facebook widget will look like this. You can see the 3 quick click amounts as well as the donation descriptions. For both regular and single, we'll have those different donation descriptions that people will be able to fill out the full donation process. So they can do direct debits on Facebook, they can do single donations on Facebook, and it's all accessible right from that CAF Donate app. So thanks for joining, and there will be a short survey when you close. We'd be more than happy to hear your feedback, and thank you very much for attending the webinar today.